Lil Jeff's people are done being friendly, especially now that they got their revenge, which makes sense because their enemies, including the one who killed Lil Jeff, were on vlogs mocking the Bloodhounds, laughing at how their top shooter got murked. That kind of trolling was wild, even worse than what Lil Jeff used to do, and we all know what that leads to. That is exactly why one of Jeff's killers and a relative of his are now dead. Both of them were taken out in one of the most heartbreaking ways possible. So let me explain. Up to speed with the Bloodhounds' war with Trap, Lil Jeff's killer struck just days before he himself got taken out. Lil Jeff had left a message for his ops, that if they ever managed to kill him, his crew would come sliding for revenge. "I'm gone. Tell him get back." "No, they still gon' spin," Ricky said. He got hit. Me, whoever, did that to me. We spinning on y'all." A lot of people believe Lil Jeff sensed that his time was nearly up, that the life he lived was heading toward just one end. So he warned his ops, even if they took him out, they would still pay. It would be open season for the Bloodhounds, and because the streets come with rules, those rules had to be honored. When Lil Jeff got shot and killed in Trap City territory by Trap City affiliates, everyone realized the streets of Chicago were about to explode into chaos. And it was not just Lil Jeff's Instagram clips that had people waiting for the blood hounds to clap back. His parents' social media presence played a role too. In fact, his mother proudly backed her son's hits on his ops in a now infamous screenshot that circulated online. Jeff had once shared a chat with his mom that showed just how deep her support really went. "Go ahead, son. Your name ringing." "Bells in the streets," she wrote, clearly proud of the street rep her son was earning by sliding on his ops. In another message, she said, "I love it, sliding on them who slept in the bed with you." This was not some worried mother pleading with her son to leave the streets. She was fully embracing and promoting his thug lifestyle. And Lil Jeff? He was proud of her backing. He shared the screenshot with the caption, "All I got to say is she watched me work that 6T woo." But if his mother's response was shocking, his father's was even worse. While Lil Jeff's mom cheered him on from the sidelines, his father took a more hands-on approach, practically calling for retaliation. Taking to Facebook, he made it clear that his son's death would not go unanswered. "Let it be known, y'all didn't get him, he came trying to get y'all, and what happened happened. But the saga continues, clear the streets." It was only a matter of time before Lil Jeff's people made their move. Jeff's affiliates took his dad's words seriously and immediately targeted their ops for retaliation, zeroing in on their next victim, Trap City Carter. This would turn out to be the Bloodhounds' biggest victory, because it seems Trap City Carter might be the root cause of the entire beef. According to a Reddit post, the war between Trap City and the Bloodhounds started when Lil Jeff took Trap City Carter's chain. This claim holds up as Trap City affiliates themselves recounted how the war began and revealed that Lil Jeff had once been cool with Trap City Carter City. They say his dad was from down here, Big J or something like that. His D is from Hang. Them. They know what they did, so okay, they know what they did. The Bloodhound? Yeah, he was cool, was my homie. However, all that changed when Lil Jeff took a chain. Stole a chain, bro. He really took it. Was it SJ or someone else? No one other. According to Trap City affiliates, one of their homies had let Lil Jeff wear his chain. However, Lil Jeff never gave it back and claimed he got into an altercation. The cops chased him, and he lost it during a high-speed chase with W. When he came back, he was acting like he didn't have it. He claimed he lost it. You know what I mean? That's messed up. Turns out the owner of the chain, the one whose loss sparked the rivalry, would also lose his life. On October 20th, 2024, news outlets reported that a man tragically lost his life in Chicago the night before. Shots had been fired in the city's Oakland neighborhood, and by the time it ended, a man was left bleeding on the pavement, his life slipping away with every second. It happened around 8:41 p.m. on South Ellis Avenue, a block that, like so many others in the city, had already witnessed its share of violence. Witnesses told police that two men approached their target, guns drawn, and fired without a second thought. The 32-year-old victim didn't stand a chance. Within seconds, the shooters jumped into a white vehicle and vanished into the night. Paramedics arrived quickly, rushing the victim to the University of Chicago Medical Center, but it was too late. The victim had sustained gunshot wounds to the chest and lost too much blood. Despite the doctor's best efforts, he was pronounced dead shortly after arriving. The medical examiner identified him as Cheval Carter, also known as Trap City Carter. What's crazy is that just one day before Trap City Carter was gunned down, Trap City affiliates had filmed a vlog where they mocked Lil Jeff's death. In the vlog, Trap City Tarot tells Carter to share his side of the story about the missing chain. "I heard the fallout was over a stolen Cuban or something like that." Tell them you're... The story's already been told, but it still hurts. What happened? Why'd he steal from folks? According to Trap City affiliates, Lil Jeff was like family to them, but he broke their trust with his actions. They even went on to detail how Lil Jeff lied about losing the chain in a high-speed chase with the cops. "They let him wear a chain like he let me wear a chain. Gang on PH, he let me rock that for a couple of days. Gang on PH them, and I just ended up, outside, coming back around y'all. Then all of a sudden I come back and say the chain is STO. That's like giving your word, he said he got it. But the worst part? Lil Jeff's homies were in on the plot to steal the chain. They tried to cover for him, making it sound like he just lost it. But in reality, it was a group effort to play it off. According to Trap City Tarot, it was all just an excuse for the Bloodhounds to start a beef. They'd take the chain to make it seem like they had a reason, While doing the vlog, they even passed by the house where Lil Jeff was killed. This took place at Trap City Rob's grandma's house, the spot where Rob, the guy allegedly responsible for taking out Lil Jeff, was trolling and laughing. In the vlog, they reenacted how Lil Jeff was killed, copying every move Jeff made, running up to the house, getting shot, and falling to the ground. Trap City Carter is seen laughing, pretending to be Q50, even dragging Lil Jeff's body, just like what happened the day Jeff was killed. Let's just say this didn't sit well with Q50, who quickly took to his Instagram to threaten all the bloggers and interviewers who, Q50 made it clear, calling out all the interviewers and bloggers who were giving his ops a platform to disrespect him and his brother. He said, "All you interviewers and bloggers giving my dirty, broke ops a platform to mention me and my brother's names, you're getting treated just like me and Lil Jeff catching a walk from the clubs on a Friday night. I promise." Tragically, the same day the vlog went up, Trap City Carter would be gunned down. What's even crazier is that during the interview, Carter asked why the interviewer kept bringing up dead people. One comment reacted to this saying, "It's crazy how he said what's up." With all the questions about dead people, Trap City Carter seemed paranoid. "They say you can feel it coming before it happens. What's up with all these dead people, man? That's what they want to hear," he said. Maybe that's why Real Vert shut down Adam22 so quickly when he started talking about death in his interview. "Are you scared of death? Why do you keep talking about death, you weirdo?" he asked. It felt like death was everywhere, just consuming everything. Meanwhile, Lil Jeff's affiliates couldn't hide their excitement over their ops death. Lil Jeff's affiliates quickly hopped on social media, just like Jeff did, posting cryptic messages that hinted at Carter's murder being revenge for Lil Jeff's death. And you already know, Adam22's Fed couldn't resist jumping into the mix. He took to his Instagram attempting to tie Q50 to the murder. "I guess this is why Q50 was in such a good mood when I called him yesterday," he said. But after fans called him out, he quickly tried to backtrack, saying, "I wasn't saying he did it, I was just saying he was in a good mood." It was crazy. Q50 also hit Instagram, posting 3 blunts and a message that seemed to suggest he had just slid for his dead homies. He shared a picture with 9 hats and pics of Lil Jeff. According to the rapper, he was done sliding because he had already avenged his homie's death. "Lil Sco and Lil Jeff, feet kicked up, now I can get rich. I love and miss y'all," he wrote. He also added, "P.S. It ain't over." And true to his words, the retaliation for Lil Jeff's death wasn't over. In fact, things were about to get a whole lot messier just a few days later. Another life would be lost in the gang war. But this time, the victim had no ties to the streets. On November 2nd, what was meant to be Trap City Carter's send-off turned into yet another tragic incident in Chicago. News outlets reported that a woman was shot and killed while taking part in a funeral procession for her brother in South Suburban, Dixmoor. She had come to say her final goodbyes, to grieve with family, to honor the life of someone she loved. Instead, she lost her own. At exactly 12:01 p.m., Dixmoor police were called. The police arrived at the scene on 147th Street and C Avenue, where a white Jaguar SUV had crashed into a house. But the real tragedy wasn't the crash itself. It was what officers discovered inside the vehicle. Behind the wheel was a 34-year-old woman, her body slumped over, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. She had been driving in the funeral procession, making her way from St. Mark's Church in Harvey when the shots rang out. The same streets that had carried her brother's final journey had now become the scene of her own. Paramedics rushed her to the University of Chicago Medical Center. Romisha Turner was rushed to Englewood Memorial Hospital in Harvey, fighting for her life, but the damage was too severe. She was pronounced dead shortly after arriving. Authorities later identified her as Romisha Turner from Country Club Hills, Trap City Carter's sister. For Lil Jeff's affiliates, there were no boundaries when it came to seeking revenge for their fallen homie. Whether it was shooting up a funeral or murdering an innocent family member of an already dead op, the gangsters in Chicago had reached a new low. But Trap City Carter wasn't the end. Trap City Rob wasn't the only one on the Bloodhounds' radar. He had been receiving death threats ever since he was accused of emptying his clip on Lil Jeff, and his reaction to all the controversy, and threats might surprise you, the man who took Lil Jeff's life has made one thing clear to the world. He isn't afraid of anything. After all, anyone who would empty a clip into the fierce Lil Jeff isn't someone to be messed with. And now, with Lil Jeff's affiliates, looking for someone to take out their frustration, Trap City Rob sent them a message. People had been trying to kill Trap City Rob his entire life, but none of them had succeeded. "You don't get death threats your whole life and still take them seriously," he said. "They gotta show me for real." Trap City Rob wasn't lying, and on June 8, 2024, cameras would capture the death of Lil Jeff. Not long after, CCTV footage of the incident made its way onto the internet. The minute-by-minute chain of events was wild. The surveillance footage revealed the shocking details. From the 6600 block of S. Rhodes Avenue, surveillance captured a group of individuals gathered near a house, surrounded by several parked cars. Among them were Lil Jeff's homies, the ones in the black car. One person was dressed all in black, another in red, later identified as Q50, and one wearing a white hoodie. Meanwhile, a man in yellow shorts was seen trying to get into a car. That's when Lil Jeff spotted him in the footage. The door of the black car opened, and there he was. Lil Jeff. Without he, the streets seem to have a dark plan for him, almost as if the cops are eager to see him back out there, caught in a deadly shootout or trapped committing a serious crime, ultimately locked up for good. And it's beginning to look like their strategy is working. He's already at odds with some of Lil Jeff's closest associates, including Rico Reckless. Rico, who was once a trusted ally of Lil Jeff, had even tried to get him out of Chicago when Jeff first began making waves in the music industry. In multiple interviews, Rico has openly admitted that he knew the risks Jeff faced. He saw the writing on the wall, knowing that Lil Jeff was either headed for prison or an early grave. Rico often found himself fielding calls, hearing people say, "Man, he's tweaking," as the situation continued to spiral. Rico couldn't help but shake his head as he listened to the chatter about Lil Jeff. They were saying he was messing up, and Rico knew exactly how it went down in Chicago when things started to get tense. "When they get scared, they do two things," Rico explained. "Either they send the cops after you, or they send you to an early grave for trying to play gangster." It was a harsh reality, one that many learned too late. Rico recalled a conversation he had with Lil Jeff, where he tried to convince him to leave Chicago and stay in LA, hoping it would keep him out of harm's way. But Lil Jeff, determined to stay true to his roots, decided to return home. Unfortunately, that decision proved to be fatal. Rico believed in Jeff's potential. He saw how big he could have become. But the streets of Chicago had a different fate in mind for him, and it was one that Jeff never escaped. He would have stayed. I begged him, though. I swear to God, I told him, "Stay out here, away from the game." They had a whole spot they were at, and I told him, "Even if you want to stay there, come stay with me, man, before you go back to that spot." Now, Lil Jeff's homies are dissing Rico Reckless, with Q50 and Vert hopping on Instagram to say, "Call Rico Reckless homies, do something." But beef aside, the Bloodhounds also suffered a major loss. Just 1 month after Lil Jeff was gunned down, another one of their top rappers and shooters also met his death in June. The 7th tragedy struck in the Showdown neighborhood at the intersection of 89th Place and Langley Avenue around 11:50 p.m. Assyrian Hogan, also known as Lil Scum, and his 16-year-old friend, Lil Will, found themselves in a heated argument with another individual. What began as a verbal exchange quickly escalated into threats, and in an instant, gunfire rang out. When the smoke cleared, Sco was lying on the ground, his friend Lil Will wounded but still alive. Paramedics quickly rushed Sco to the University of Chicago Medical Center. But the damage had already been done. He didn't survive. Meanwhile, the police spotted a suspect fleeing the scene. The scene quickly turned chaotic as a foot chase ensued. Shots were fired at officers, prompting a massive emergency response. CPD's SWAT team and multiple districts were called in, but amidst the turmoil, the gunman managed to escape. In the aftermath, Lil Sco's label issued a heartfelt statement. "It is with great sadness that we share the loss of artist Lil Sco, a true creative." Sco's passion for music was evident in the near-constant flow of songs and videos to his fans. His immense talent, ambitious vision, and quiet determination made him one of a kind and an inspiration to so many. We will miss him deeply. The labels. Statement concluded, "We will miss him dearly and our thoughts are with his family." But just days later, the true story behind Lil Sco's death came to light, and it quickly became one of the most shocking tales of backstabbing in the Chicago gang conflict. The entire incident was documented and leaked online, revealing details that stunned many. Lil Sco's little brother came forward, revealing that his brother had been set up. So, was there any truth to the Me Brooks theory? Was it truly a backdoor situation? The answer was somewhat like that. He was indeed set up. It was no coincidence. And the person responsible? It turns out it was a girl named. People were even posting alleged DMs from her, with some showing her admitting to backdooring the Bloodhound rapper. As you can imagine, Lil Sco's affiliates weren't going to let this slide. The van from 1700 called the girl and threatened her, saying, "I just called your name, talking about, I don't know why you're calling my phone, we're killing you, that's why." Word on the street was that Lil Sco was on his way to get his hair braided at his girlfriend's house, where the alleged backstabber was reportedly staying. The girl who was doing Sco's hair was named Journey, and it was at her place where things were set in motion. In one of the leaked DMs, an alleged shooter asks Nan where she is and if Sco is at the house. The shooter also tells Nan, "Don't let nobody know you're texting me." Not only did Nan drop Sco's location, but she also kept his enemies updated on his every move. Footage later surfaced showing Sco, Lil Will, Journey, and Nan walking up to the house. Nan is seen walking slowly behind everyone, absorbed in her phone, with people speculating that she was secretly colluding with Sco's ops. After the footage leaked, everyone was left in shock and disbelief. At first, everyone thought it was Journey who had betrayed her boyfriend. She appeared too nervous and even claimed she didn't have the keys to her own house. "Your keys?" someone asked, to which she replied, "I told you I don't have any keys. I take them on. I don't have them." But Lil Sco's girl would later go on DJV and reveal that Nan had backdoored her boyfriend. When asked how she and Nan fell out, she explained, "Really, the Sco stuff, it wasn't like that. After I found out it was really her, it really was." She firmly believed that it was Nan who had set him up. With this kind of evidence, it was clear that the betrayal ran deep. Lil Sco's affiliates were already on her trail, with Vaughn from 1700 posting her locations and phone number. They started trolling her relentlessly, creating obituary flyers with her photo and sending threatening messages. As the death threats grew more serious, it became clear that Nan's time in Chicago was running out. Her people wanted her out of the city immediately. A few hours later, she posted a message on social media, saying she was never coming back, as she boarded a flight out of Chicago. According to Sco's girl, while Nan was supposed to be attending to the rapper's hair, she went to the bathroom and locked the door, where it seemed she was still in contact with Sco's enemies, continuing to coordinate the plot. As time passed, Journey grew increasingly worried and texted Nan, asking if she was okay. Nan replied, saying she just didn't feel like talking. The entire time, Nan had been doing the unthinkable. As Sko and Lil Will were leaving the house, the shooters were waiting for them outside. While Lil Will narrowly escaped death, Sko wasn't as lucky. To make the situation even more twisted, Lil Sko's family came forward and revealed that the rapper didn't even have a girlfriend. The entire story seemed shady from the start, with every new revelation adding more layers of deception. The Bloodhounds seemed to be taking more L's, especially as the internet uncovered their drug habits. Q50 even took to Instagram to brag about spending over $500 a day on perks, while Vert revealed in an interview that he spends around $400 a day on drugs. "But I'm spending like probably $400 a day, literally," Vert said. He's so far gone that he's often high and fast asleep during some of his interviews. To make matters worse, even Jeff's alleged killer went to Instagram to roast the Bloodhounds, calling them junkies. He posted, "Why would I want to hang out with Vert? That's a shorty and a goofy. I'm from Trap City, not 79th, not blood. Hound, what am I doing hanging with you and a perk-sniffing crew, dumb little boy?" There's even a rumor that on the day Jeff died, the Bloodhounds were all high on something. From Lil Jeff walking with a false sense of bravado to Q50 tripping and falling like a clown, everything seemed to go wrong for them from the start. Can the Bloodhounds sink any lower than this? Only time will tell. Meanwhile, if you enjoyed this video, click on the cards on your screen to watch similar content.